Welcome to Trending Now USA. I am Bella, and tonight we bring you a remarkable story that has sent shockwaves through the tennis world and left fans, commentators, and even seasoned professionals searching for words, because what Coco Gauff delivered on court was something rarely witnessed, something that didn't just win a match but rewrote the emotional script of competition itself. The stadium was full. The lights were sharp, and the atmosphere carried that familiar electricity that always seems to follow Coco Gauff wherever she plays. From the moment she walked onto the court, there was a sense that something different was about to unfold. Not dramatic in the loud, explosive sense, but different in a quieter, more powerful way, the kind of difference that creeps up on everyone and only reveals its full meaning after the final point has been played. Her opponent, a respected and experienced player with a reputation for mental toughness and tactical intelligence, looked composed during the warm-up. There were no visible cracks, no signs of intimidation, no hint that this would be anything other than a fiercely contested match. Yet as the first few games unfolded, it became clear that Coco Gauff was operating on a level that went beyond strategy, beyond raw athleticism, and into something far more commanding. Coco's movement was fluid, almost effortless, as if the court itself was guiding her steps. Every shot carried intention. Her forehand wasn't just powerful, it was precise, landing deep and forcing uncomfortable replies. Her backhand, already known as one of the most reliable in the game, became a wall her opponent simply couldn't penetrate. Rally after rally ended the same way, with Coco dictating the point and her opponent scrambling, reacting instead of creating. But what truly made this performance extraordinary was not just the technical dominance. It was the psychological presence Coco brought to the court. She didn't rush between points. She didn't celebrate excessively. She simply reset, focused, and returned to the baseline with calm certainty. That calm became contagious, spreading through the crowd, silencing the usual chatter, drawing everyone into a shared awareness that they were witnessing something special. As the first set slipped away, the opponent tried to change tactics, mixing up pace, approaching the net more frequently, and testing Coco with drop shots. Yet Coco read every move with astonishing clarity. She anticipated angles before they were fully formed, chased down balls that seemed unreachable, and turned defense into offense with a smoothness that defied logic. Each successful response added another layer of pressure, not through intimidation, but through inevitability. By the middle of the match, the opponent's body language had changed. The confident posture had softened. The eye contact after points faded. Between games, there were longer pauses, deeper breaths, and moments where she stared at her racket as if hoping it might offer answers. This was not the result of trash talk or mind games. It was the result of being outplayed so completely that words became unnecessary. Coco Gauff's serve became another silent weapon. It wasn't just about speed, though the pace was impressive. It was about placement and variation. Wide serves pulled the opponent off the court, while well-disguised body serves jammed any attempt at aggressive returns. Time and again, Coco followed her serve with a decisive first shot, closing points quickly and denying any rhythm from developing on the other side of the net. What stood out most was Coco's maturity in moments that often define matches. On break points, she didn't play safe, but she didn't overreach either. She trusted her patterns, trusted her training, and trusted herself. Each crucial point was played with the same level of commitment as the first rally of the match. There was no visible tension, no sign of doubt, just a steady execution that spoke volumes about her growth as a competitor. The crowd, initially energetic and vocal, began to react differently as the match progressed. Applause turned into murmurs of disbelief. Gasps followed certain rallies, especially those where Coco chased down seemingly lost points and turned them into winners. Fans weren't just cheering. They were processing what they were seeing, trying to understand how such control and composure could come from someone still so young. As the final games approached, the opponent made one last attempt to shift momentum, pushing harder, swinging faster, and taking bigger risks. For a brief moment, there was a flicker of resistance, a couple of bold winners that drew applause and offered a glimpse of hope. But Coco responded immediately, raising her level even further, absorbing the pace, redirecting the energy, and calmly restoring order. The match ended not with a dramatic collapse, but with a quiet, almost surreal acceptance. The final point was a long rally, fittingly so, ending with Coco placing the ball just beyond reach, forcing one last stretch that fell short. The opponent stood still for a moment, then nodded, not in frustration, but in acknowledgement. Words were unnecessary. The scoreboard told one story, but the real story was written in the silence that followed. At the net, the handshake was brief and respectful. The opponent offered a small smile, one that carried admiration more than disappointment. Later, during the post-match exchange, there were moments where she struggled to articulate her thoughts. She spoke of Coco's level, her calm, her intelligence on court, and admitted that she had rarely felt so comprehensively outmatched. It wasn't a feat that left her speechless, but the quality of what she had faced. For Coco Gauff, this performance was not about proving anything to anyone else. It was a statement of where she is now as a player and where she is headed. From her early days as a teenage sensation to her evolution into a consistent contender, every stage of her journey has been marked by growth, resilience, and an unwavering work ethic. This match felt like the culmination of countless hours of practice, reflection, and belief. Behind the scenes, Coco's team has often spoken about her commitment to improvement, her willingness to learn from losses, and her focus on the long-term picture rather than short-term hype. This match reflected that philosophy perfectly. There were no unnecessary risks, no emotional swings, just a disciplined, intelligent approach that maximized her strengths and exploited opportunities with precision. What also made this moment resonate was the way Coco carried herself throughout. There was humility in her demeanor, respect in her gestures, and gratitude in her acknowledgement of the crowd. After the match, she took time to sign autographs, wave to fans, and thank the ball kids and officials. These small acts reinforce the impression that her greatness extends beyond the baseline. Analysts were quick to weigh in, describing the performance as one of the most complete of her career. They highlighted her improved serve consistency, her sharper decision-making, and her enhanced court awareness. Some noted how she managed to control the tempo without appearing rushed, a skill often associated with the most experienced champions. Others focused on her mental strength, pointing out how she never allowed momentum to shift away from her control. Former players watching from the stands and on television echoed similar sentiments. Many spoke about the difficulty of facing an opponent who offers no emotional openings, no signs of vulnerability. Coco Gauff, in this match, offered exactly that kind of challenge. She didn't just play better tennis, she created an environment where her opponent couldn't find a way in. For fans, especially younger ones, this performance carried an added layer of inspiration. Coco has long been seen as a role model, not just for her achievements, but for her authenticity and voice. Watching her dominate with grace and composure reinforced the idea that success doesn't have to come with arrogance or hostility. It can come with focus, kindness, and confidence. As news of the match spread across social media, reactions poured in from around the world. Clips of key points were shared and replayed, accompanied by messages of awe and admiration. Many commented on the calm intensity Coco displayed, calling it chilling in the best possible way. Others focused on the opponent's reaction, noting how rare it is to see a professional athlete so openly acknowledge being outplayed. This match will likely be remembered not for a single spectacular shot, but for the overall feeling it left behind. It was a reminder of what tennis can be at its highest level, a blend of physical excellence, mental clarity, and emotional intelligence. Coco Gauff embodied all of these elements in a way that felt both natural and extraordinary. Looking ahead, this performance raises expectations, but it also reinforces trust in Coco's process. She has shown time and again that she can handle attention, pressure, and responsibility without losing herself. Each milestone in her career has been met with reflection rather than complacency, and this match seems poised to become another stepping stone rather than a final destination. For her opponent, this experience, though difficult, may ultimately prove valuable. Facing a player performing at such a level offers clarity about one's own game, highlighting areas for growth and adaptation. In sports, moments like these, though humbling, often become catalysts for change. As the lights dimmed and the crowd slowly filtered out, there was a lingering sense that something rare had taken place. Not a scandal, not a controversy, but a pure demonstration of excellence. Coco Gauff had left her opponent speechless, not through dominance alone, but through a performance that balanced power with poise, intensity with respect, and ambition with humility. This is why moments like these matter. They remind us why we watch, why we care, and why sports continue to captivate us. In a world full of noise, Coco Gauff delivered a performance that spoke volumes without saying a word. And as her journey continues, one thing feels increasingly certain. This was not a peak, but a glimpse of what may become her standard. You've been watching Trending Now USA. I am Bella, and this was the story of a match that will be talked about not just for how it ended, but for how it made everyone feel silent, stunned, and deeply aware that they had just witnessed something truly unforgettable.